Well, good morning and welcome to After GMS. It is Wednesday, June 17th. Glad you're here with us. I'm Tracy McCain. Christian Morgan and Megan Malaris are working from home today, and we are very sorry for the delay getting on this morning. We had some tech gremlins roaming around. I think it's all the rain, Christian, kind of causing even more problems than we need right now.
Yeah, that's making me slow too. There's a lot of it, and I'll tell you what, we've got a couple more gray days to go, but things do start to get better. Take a look at our weather camera network, and you can see it's just a gray look across the triad. No, it's not our best attire, but we are going to sport it at least for one more day, and then actually we do start to get some sunshine. If you're looking for better weather, though, it's pretty much everywhere except North Carolina and Virginia right now. Zoom in on a closer view of our radar, and you can see we've actually got a little bit of lull in the rain action. There is some rain out to our west and also some more steady rain out to the east near Raleigh. Now, as we go through the mid-morning hours, some of that rain from the Raleigh area is going to be making it to the triad. It will be steady at times, but by the afternoon, things become a little more scattered. It's more of an on and off rain type setup. And in fact, if we're lucky, I think we could get a few breaks of sunshine here and there across the area, just something to cross our fingers and hope for the best for, right? As far as rain totals go, yesterday, the triad area picked up about 1.25 inches or a little more in some spots. And of course, you can really see where that heavier rain was down to the southwest, between 2 and 3 inches just yesterday with this system. And by the time we get to the end of the week, I think the triad area could pick up another inch to possibly 3 inches if some of those heavier bands of rain set up. So why is all of this happening? Well, we have an upper level low pressure system that's pretty much stuck and kind of parked itself over the Carolinas, the center of it, right over the Carolinas right now. And as it continues to sit there and spin, it continues to bring in moisture off of the ocean. That fuels our rounds of rain. Now, at the same time, we also have high pressure up to our north. That bringing in a cooler wind in combination with the rain and the clouds does keep us on the cool side, much cooler, about 20 to 25 degrees cooler than normal. And of course, we've been stuck in the 50s ever since Monday at lunchtime, but we're finally going to break out of the 50s today. And as this system starts to move away from us, starts really moving away from us this evening and tomorrow, we will start a warming trend. Summer is not canceled. It is coming back, although it doesn't feel like it right now. Upper 50s out the door across the area, 58 in Greensboro, 58 in Winston-Salem, 59 in High Point, Asheboro, and Lexington as well. Of course, we'll have some rain as we go through the morning hours and the afternoon. It still will be breezy at times, and it is a big accomplishment. We will make it into the 60s today. Even upper 60s are possible by the time we're said and done with today. Overnight temperature is going to drop back into the lower 60s, of course, keeping that chance for on and off rain in the forecast. It'll be lower 60s and upper 50s back to the western counties and the foothills as well. So as our rain chances slowly but surely start to go down, our temperatures will start to go back up. Going to keep some scattered showers and storms in the forecast for your Thursday. Temperatures will be in the mid-70s. By Friday, though, we have a good amount of sunshine, of course, watching for those summertime pop-up storms on Friday. Temperatures in the low 80s, mid-80s on Saturday, even upper 80s. Could be close to 90 by Sunday and Monday afternoons. And of course, we still haven't had our first 90-degree day of the year yet. So maybe we'll get that next week. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, really, honestly, who knows?
Who knows?
Let's throw it out there. I love how you got in your little lingo there, your trendy lingo, saying summer's not canceled. I thought that was a great play on words.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Compliments when they're due. All right, let's jump into our first conversation this morning, and it's all about social distancing. Of course, we're still social distancing here in the studio. I'm the only one in here right now. Christian and Megan are working from home. As a matter of fact, Megan, I don't think you've been back to the building since maternity leave, so it's been like months. So right now, Amazon is trying to make it simpler for you to follow social distancing guidelines. So the company is rolling out new distance assistants to help employees. The sensors measure the space between workers to see if they are far enough apart. This can actually work in airports or places like that too. So Amazon says it's working to make the software available online so anyone can create their own distance assistant. We might see this in grocery stores, at airports, as I mentioned, at train stations, or at your job. So this new technology could soon appear across the country. And we want to know this morning, would it make you feel more comfortable in the office or at a business, or if the markings on the floor that we already see at grocery stores and businesses like that are enough? So while you guys are commenting in the comments bar right underneath here. Christian, we'll go ahead and start with you. Social distancing, do you think people are following it, and would this make you feel more comfortable?
I don't think this would do a lot for me, honestly. I will say the markings on the floor probably do more for me, just because when I walk in somewhere, I kind of know they're already there, and I'm really observant of those, and I try to, keep my distance and stand on those markings. I don't know if this would do it so much for me. At some point, I think this is almost getting into that Google Glass era that we talked about it, at one point a couple of years back, about having that kind of in the corner of your glasses is something, I don't know, that tech wise may be something, but I don't know if this would work for me. I don't really understand how it works, or what's what do you have on you? Do you have to keep your phone out to follow along with it, or are there screens where you're going? How exactly does it work?
I think it's like thermal imaging, so it like takes like temperatures of like you, or like looks for like heat, and kind of like measures you that way. But I am so non-tech anything. Like, I don't even like working the remote at home. I keep it on one channel, and it's on that channel all day, whether it's Nickelodeon, Disney, or Lifetime. It is on it all day. So I'm not techie, but Megan, you have a little bit more skill in this area. How would you feel more comfortable, going about? Would something like this work for you, or do you think the floor markings are fine enough, or, what do you think?
Well, first, I don't know how much more tech savvy I am than you necessarily, Tracy, but yeah, this is an interesting concept. I think it does sound a little invasive, like Christian said, if it's thermal imaging or something with your screen. I mean, how exactly is Amazon going to track you, and then what's happening with that data potentially? But, floor markings are not necessarily getting the job done, at least as far as what I've witnessed in the grocery store and at airports. People are getting way too close. That said, it is kind of a habit you have to make, especially if you haven't been out in a while. You're like, oh wait, I'm getting too close to that person. I didn't realize it. But all in all, I do think at least businesses are trying to take the right precautions. And at restaurants, I've been really impressed, at least as far as seeing tables spaced way more than 6 feet apart. So people are trying to do this, and I think the concept is good, but I'm not sure if technology distant assistance, apparently is what it's called, is gonna make anything better.
Yeah, just so you guys know, our boss is watching and just sent me a text saying you don't keep the channel on channel 3 or channel 2 every day. So just moving forward with what you have to say, know that the boss is watching. Nice to know. All right, and by the way, I do watch us all the time. It's the only channel I watch. All right, so let's get to those viewer comments now. Ramona says, we will have to see, because now when you go into the stores, even now, people do not obey the signs and markings on the floors, kind of echoing what Megan just mentioned. Pam Dixon says, I love it. People at stores get right up on you as it is. Michelle says, well, who can't judge proper distance? Oh, come on, more money for Amazon. That's a good comment there. Heather Harness says, people probably won't follow it at all. They already don't follow the markings or one white aisles at the stores. I've also witnessed that too. There, at some stores, they have like the one arrow pointing up an aisle, and still people are going up and down both directions. So, that I have seen that. Susan says, social distancing is a good idea, but some folks just don't care. No masks, and they push right past you. Grr. And then Michelle says, next thing, it will show your body temperature on the floor. Geesh. So, a lot of people, not necessarily convinced that something like this would work, but you can see that, these tech companies are trying to put their foot in the door and come up with technology to kind of change with the movement here. Because, that's what all good companies do, right? When they see an opportunity to put in new technology to make things easier or better for people, that's what they do. Now, whether it will work, we'll see.
Megan is right, though. If you haven't been out in a while, you really do have to kind of be cautious and be mindful, and always be thinking, oh yeah, make sure I'm standing 6 feet apart. And it's just kind of something that everybody has to learn and will have to deal with and get used to for some time.
Yeah. So Megan, do you have an update on when you'll be joining me in the studio anytime soon, please?
I I don't. For now, we will have to work together socially distant from home. But I do miss you all, especially that, camaraderie that we have. And there's just something special about being able to talk to a coworker face to face and be able to brainstorm and have those discussions. I'm hopeful that one day, of course, we will get back to it. But I've been impressed by how us and other companies have adapted to this new normal. I mean, we really have made an effort to stay connected, continue doing our meetings and brainstorming editorial sessions and making this work as we've had to do it. So, I think we're all learning a lot from this. And if this were to ever happen again, I think a lot of businesses will be better prepared.
Yeah, I agree. And Lisa, just to end this section out, said, with a play on Dirty Dancing, said, what happened to this is my dance space and this is your dance space? That was a great part in the movie. She says, before all of this, many of us have asked people to please back up or give me space. But yes, Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey definitely made that line a classic. All right, Megan, let's talk about the headlines this morning.
All right, it's 8:05. Let's move into our headlines and some somber news to talk about. Today marks 5 years already since the deadly mass shooting at a church in Charleston. 8 black worshipers and their pastor died when Dylan Roof opened fire during a Bible study at Mother Emanuel AME Church. Roof is in prison with a death sentence. And after an hours-long virtual city council meeting, the Greensboro city leaders approved a budget for the upcoming 2020-2021 fiscal year. $250,000 will go toward businesses damaged on the nights of May 30th and 31st. When some protests turned violent and people started looting businesses after peaceful protests during the day. Greensboro police say vandals damaged or stole from more than 100 businesses that weekend. Downtown Greensboro Incorporated, DGI, will be the organization distributing these new funds. We've learned multiple employees at a Greensboro manufacturing company have expressed concern over an unconfirmed COVID-19 outbreak there. Workers say 15 Gilbarco Veeder-Root employees have tested positive for coronavirus. A company spokesperson could not confirm that number, but said the affected employees are self-quarantining. She said the company is deep cleaning and disinfecting regularly and has implemented temperature checks, social distancing, and mask use. Well, the COVID-19 pandemic has forced organizers to cancel this year's John Coltrane International Jazz and Blues Festival. The annual event was supposed to happen this September in High Point. Organizers say social distancing would not allow them to hold the event on the scale they had hoped. The 10th anniversary festival will happen in September 2021.
Well, overnight camps are operating under North Carolina's Phase 2 reopening plan. WFMY News 2's Candace Red is sharing how overnight camps are keeping children and staff safe during this health crisis.
We're at YMCA Camp Weaver in Greensboro. It offers day, overnight, and summer experiences for campers between 1st and 11th grade. Well, right now you're looking at video of other camps operating amid the coronavirus pandemic. Camps are frequently cleaning and disinfecting high-touch areas using an EPA-approved disinfectant for the virus that causes COVID-19. Camps are also conducting daily health screenings of staff and campers. If COVID-19 symptoms occur, sick workers and campers will be immediately isolated from the rest of the camp. Well, Jamie Cawson is the executive director of YMCA Camp Weaver. He says the camp is taking additional steps to slow the spread of COVID-19.
The main part of the program is keeping kids in family groups or cohorts. And so those groups are around 10, whether it's overnight camp or day camp, we keep them in those groups. And the idea of that is they stay in that bubble all day long. And we try our best to prevent any crossover in those groups.
Similar to other camps, YMCA Camp Weaver is operating under limited capacity. We know that the camp went from 300 campers to no more than 75. Well, for more details on this, all you have to do is visit our website. That's WFMYnews2.com.
Well, as reopening continues around the world, cinemas in Italy now have the green light to welcome back moviegoers. The country is easing restrictions to slow COVID-19 spread, but theaters did open with a lot new safety measures in place. Audience members have to leave 2 seats between each person. Face masks are required in common areas, but people don't have to wear them while they are watching the movie. So meanwhile, movie theaters in North Carolina are part of the phase 3 reopening plan. We haven't heard from the governor yet whether the state will move forward with phase 3 plans, which is set to begin next Friday, June 26th. Right now, AMC is looking to open cinemas nationwide sometime in July, and Regal Cinemas says they'll reopen July 10th. So speaking of movies, filming for some highly anticipated summer blockbusters were put off, but they'll pick back up next month. Jurassic World Dominion will start filming again July 6th in the United Kingdom, along with the new Batman movie and the next movie in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them series. Regal Cinemas says it plans to open all of its theaters by July 10th, with screening of Mulan and Wonder Woman 1984 on the slate. So this morning we're talking about movie theaters and whether or not you're ready to head back in to see really anything. It's been so long since, I've been to the movies. Christian, we'll start with you. Is it time to go back to the movie theaters?
I don't know, and I'm probably not much help at all because my movie attendance has been on the decline for the last few years, really. I've probably only been in the theater a handful. I can probably count it on one hand the amount of times I've been in a theater over the last 2 or 3 years, really. And I guess that's kind of just where we're going to streaming services and stuff. So unless it's something that I absolutely 100% am dying to see and I can't get it anywhere else, then I go see it in the theater. But, I'm just not, this is not one of those things that I'm excited for about, reopening. It's just not, and I don't know, I guess, again, just like anything else, we'll have to figure out how to space everybody out and how to keep it safe, but containing people in one room like that does pose an issue, of course.
Yeah, and we know that movie theaters are trying to figure out the safest way to do this. Some are saying you'll have to buy your tickets online ahead of time and pick your seats, and they will already be marked off. So there's no confusion about who can sit where, and if you have to sit, you can't sit next to, the person that you're dating or whatever. But we also know that, the movie industry is struggling right now, and the theaters are struggling because, as you mentioned, streaming services are kind of taking over, like Netflix and Hulu and Disney On Demand. That's mine. So, there are a lot of different things that are taking the place of going to the traditional movie theater. So, Megan, I know you were already kind of like a germaphobe at movie theaters, wearing hoodies and whatnot. So, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I am. You're right, Tracy. By the way, the last movie I saw was Mary Queen of Scots with you about 1.5 years ago. And yes, I always try to wear a hooded sweatshirt in theaters just because I'm a little paranoid about germs and lice. But other than that, I do enjoy going to the movie theaters. And honestly, I was a little bit surprised that movie theaters were not included as part of phase 2 of this reopening plan, because theaters know exactly how many seats there are. And there are online options by which you can book your seats. So it would be, I would think, not that difficult necessarily for the theaters to implement some kind of a social distancing guideline as far as maybe allocating certain rows for families and couples. Obviously, those chunks of seats spaced 6 feet apart, and then the rows in front and back, of course, spaced 6 feet apart. So obviously the theaters would potentially be losing money by not being able to operate at full capacity, but they would be able to essentially, in theory, reopen and abide by the guidelines in place. So we'll see what happens in phase 3 if movie theaters reopen. I would maybe consider going. I think we're at this point when everybody just wants to do something, leave the house, and as long as it's safe and people are being respectful and wearing masks, it might be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about this right now at home with my husband because, I was so excited about the Tanger Center for Performing Arts opening. We went out and bought like the season passes and couldn't wait for all the musicals to come to the stage, because these are musicals that we wanted to see, but had nowhere to see them. So we're so excited. And now it's like, if it opens in phase 3 and those productions start going on as planned, are we going to go? Are we going to lose out on all this money we spent on that? So that will be an ongoing discussion in our home. But let's get to some of what you're saying here on Facebook here. Let's see. Tamika says, nope, she's good with Netflix and my Fire Stick. I'm in no hurry to get to the theater. Sharia says, I'm good staying home, watching for it to come on TV. Michelle says, I'm going to go see Wonder Woman. Loved watching it when I was little. Tamrika says, I'll wait, LOL, haven't been in over 10 years. And Ramona says, I don't go to the movies now, so I won't be going then. Kay says, I will not be in a movie theater. I'll stick to my Fire Stick and movie streaming app. So, and Tanya gives a great option. I would rather go to a drive-in movie. And we know there is one open in Eden, which is getting a lot of attendance. Jason says, I only go to the theaters that you can pick your seats. Sounds like Italy has something that might work. Sarah says, you can't sit next to the person you're dating. Why would you want to go then? Yeah.
Good point.
So lots of great points out there, which is why we like to put it out there and start the conversation with you, because you guys bring up something that we might have missed. So this is great.
You know, I don't even like going to the theater when it's crowded in the first place. You know, I like to go to, and that's why, like, usually when I go to theaters, I pick the late movie time, because usually it's a little less crowded, or I pick one of those time frames where there's not going to be a bunch of people. One, I just think it's more peaceful, you know, and then you don't have to get there early and try to find those seats. So going late, I like going anyway when there's not a lot of people. So having less people would be no problem for me.
Yeah, I like to go to the earliest movies, because then, like, the popcorn, it's like the first batch of the day. So, you know, everything is like cleaned out and it hasn't been, like, you know, messed with. And so you're getting that first fresh pop. You put a lot of butter on it, but everything I do is motivated around food. So there you go.
Yes, and amen.
All right, guys, it is time for us to wrap up with the forecast. I can't believe it's 8:15 already. I have an interview I've got to do at.
Oh, we got to get you some energy. You have energy, and it's raining, and it's gray. I've got to find some of that energy somewhere. Maybe it's in a coffee cup. Keeping that rain in the forecast as we go throughout the afternoon. Of course, it could be steady at times through the mid-morning hours and through lunchtime. But as we go through the afternoon, it'll be a little more scattered in nature. And we might even get a few peaks of sunshine. Crossing my fingers for that. And it's a big accomplishment. We're going to make it into the mid-60s today. I'm pretty confident. We've been stuck in the 50s since Monday at lunchtime, and we're still there now, but I do think we'll cross that 60-degree mark today. Slowly but surely, our rain chances go down as we head into the weekend, and our temperatures go back up as well. Mid-70s tomorrow with some scattered showers and storms. We'll keep a 40% chance of getting some afternoon, very summer-like pop-up storms on Friday. Temperatures getting back to the 80-degree mark. And then on Saturday and Sunday are both really nice days. Low 80s on Saturday, and then we'll be back to the upper 80s, even close to 90 as we head into next week. And keep in mind, we still haven't had a 90-degree day yet for the year.
Oh, it's coming. And it'll probably happen on my birthday in July, because it's always 90 degrees on my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Well, it's still a few days away. All right, thanks for joining us here on After GMS. We certainly appreciate the conversations and the interaction. Join us again tomorrow. We'll try to work out those gremlins ahead of time so we're on time at 7:45. Either way, it'll be great to see you. Take care, everybody, and have a great day.